Right, so we did a couple of videos of election nonsense for the election that happened, funnily enough, and due to being a raging communist, I thought it'd be nice to chuck me a 50p in here as well. Something for all the family today, nothing controversial, nothing that's gonna lose us any public support as a band going forward. Yes, something nice, soft, easy, family friendly. Race riots. Yeah, they've happened, haven't they? So, thought I'd wear the old 1980 Datsun Cleveland t-shirt, due to, the root of all evil, Margaret Thatcher being responsible directly for, the crushing poverty in Britain, and which has led to, an outpouring of racist riots all about the gaff. Challenge it, got to fight them and all that. Thought we'd wear the old partisan Belgrade there as well. Give it to the Nazis like it's 1945 again. So let's crack on with my chucking me 10p in. So we did the voting is pointless video because, well, one of the main reasons for it was during that election campaign, Labour, Tories and Reform, all major parties and the one that sort of came third-ish, were running on let's stop the boats, fucking fascism. So, and that has played out well, hasn't it? Well done, Kate and right-wing Labour Party people for buying into the bullshit. That's gone well. I think what anyone who's lent any form of credence to any sort of immigration is bad narratives, which is inherently bullshit anyway, and always has been, because immigration will always be a net benefit to any country, just by virtue of more people equals more money, basic economics, really. Anybody who's lent credence to that is directly responsible for fascist rioting, which is fun, isn't it? I knew I would be proven right, but I didn't think it'd only take 3 weeks. Well, I did know that, but still, not using this as an opportunity just to say I was right, although I was right. So a rising tide of fascism in Britain. Britain's Kristallnacht, smashing up a shoe zone. I think that what's going to happen with it is that after all the mad violence that's happened and people being obviously turned off by Nazis rioting on Britain's streets, it'll continue in its the sentiment isn't going away, which is very clear, but the outright nature of it will. But this is also what is a bad precedent for a worrying precedent for to have happened during the riots is obviously the fact that all the sentences that have been passed are still less than Just Stop Oil got for a Zoom call. So it's pretty obvious that in the coming years this is going to be used on, these kind of things are going to be used against people protesting for good things, for left-wing protesters, for protesting for, please don't carry on the genocide and, can we please have some money? So, yeah, I think anything over the next 5 years of under Keir Starmer, is going to be labelled as, anything vaguely left-wing is going to be labelled as tarred with the same brush as, these fucking fascist hate crime mobs, which will be fun. Any pro-Palestine march or any vaguely left-wing cause over the course of Starmer's premiership is very, very likely to be is likened to these fascist mobs trying to burn down hotels because they've got a few refugees in them. So that bodes well. I think there's not going to be helped by the media, the BBC also calling, the people who are trying to commit murder as pro-British protests, which is, if you don't laugh, you will die of depression. The entire thing, the situation was, the sort of inexorable slide into fascism is caused by a total failure of the political and media class to do the jobs at any point within the within living memory. And they can't admit that they're part of the problem, and they help to further issues with they can't admit that they're part of the neoliberal propaganda of, oh yeah, it's actually your fault if you're poor. It's not like there's an oppressive capitalist apparatus stopping you from from having any opportunity whatsoever, and the system is designed to ruin your life. They can't admit that because then people would start to question, is there a larger problem than Imran down the road that might be affecting my life? And the answer is yes. The answer is fucking every political party having the same economic ideology of neoliberalism, and Thatcher basically still being alive in spirit. We must murder the spirit of Thatcher. That is the takeaway that you should take from this video. Essentially, it's sort of everything's been sold off. Every public resource is gone. Water, railway, post, everything's privatised, and there's no hope in any all the riots happening in sort of post-industrial towns, mostly up north, which is, there's less racist rioting happening in obviously affluent areas, and there's less of it down south because all the money is concentrated down south. So, without London, the UK is poorer than Mississippi, and that's like the byword for poverty in the United States, and a deeply, deeply poor place. So there's an article, I'll put it in there in the description if you want to read it, if you're sad enough, from August 2023 in the Financial Times. Yeah, serious journalism this, not just me ranting, although it is just me ranting as well. London makes up of 22% of Britain's GDP, and that's again the consequence of Thatcherism and Thatcher and Blair's financialisation of the entire, handed all the power to the banks essentially. It's only got worse in the last year as well. So there's a lot of north-south divide stuff going on, and there's fascism always excels in times of economic hardship and stuff. So after 14 years of Tory austerity and very little very little difference from even Blair, and then all the way back to Thatcher, really, the beginning of the end. But with that said, of course, there's no excuse for idiocy. The world's information is on your phones. You can add the entire library of human knowledge is readily accessible in your pocket. So it's the media's job to educate people on this. But of course, in a capitalist system, it will not, because it has nothing to gain from people being educated. So they're not going to tell you there's no such thing as legitimate immigration concerns. They're not going to tell you that there's less crime, immigrants commit less crime. There's immigration's always a net benefit, as I said before. These people aren't interested in facts. They're interested in how they feel. The rioters, that is, the people. Right, what that originally caused it, of course, being the Southport murders horrible fucking, obviously some insane cunt who isn't Muslim yet. But it's they're not using that as a serious motivation. It's just an excuse. So it's not as if they don't care about the events that took place, that obviously horrific and horrendous. But they're not interested in anything about that other than the fact that, oh yes, this now means we can have a go at fucking Muslims again. So it's pure bigotry. And having seen obviously over the past week, you do start the dawning realization of how fucking stupid some people are, despite the world's information being in their pocket and on the phone, is deeply troubling. But of course, a lot of these people are propagandized by not only the news and etc. But Facebook. I mean, if you go, obviously everyone has fucking mad Facebook uncles and that. But if you look at the insanity on Facebook, and obviously Elon Musk is a Nazi essentially running Twitter. It's all they've got crime accounts all over Twitter that get promoted all the time, like some lad who is non-white, funnily enough, stabbing someone in London or something, and then all the fucking right-wing gobshites are presuming Sadiq Khan is Batman and asking him why he's not solving stopping every single act of violence that ever happens in London. Why he's not? He just can't be bothered stopping it. He has the power to, but he just can't be. Absolute lunacy. But that's what you're dealing with. It's a pandemic of idiotic lunacy. And that's the future that awaits Britain. So that's fun. There's a lot of young people involved in the rioting as well, and I think a lot of that can be attributed again to Facebook, Twitter stuff as well. But obviously, like, you've sort of fascist influencers, like, they've not had enough life experience yet to understand that Andrew Tate is a weird cunt, and your Ben Shapiro's and all the other stochastic terrorists. So all these people are propped up by the algorithm and stuff as well, and there's evidence of them pushing Andrew Tate and stuff out on Twitter again because Elon Musk is a Nazi. These people haven't, a lot of the younger ones obviously haven't had much experience in the workplace and still believe that everyone can be a millionaire if you just work hard enough, which is again a product of Thatcherite fucking neoliberal nonsense. So yeah, again, Thatcher is the root of all evil. I think it is deep. You struggle to see how there's a way out for. There's a way out of this for Britain. I think Corbyn was probably the last hope, and the media spent 5 years calling him an anti-Semitic communist terrorist. So the last person, because he wanted a bit of peace. He wanted peace, and he wanted higher wages, a bit of economic, a bit of redistribution of wealth. You're a terrorist. So yeah, that was the last hope snuffed out. I think it will only, of course, be made worse by Starmer's economic inaction, there is 5 years of that coming. I'll do another video on austerity forever, because that's going to happen, as Rachel Reeves has said, in budgets and budget forecasts and stuff. We're going to do fuck all for you. Get used to it. So yeah, I think so. Try and not be all doom and gloom. I've written a few suggestions down. Like Lenin. How do we solve? What is to be done? As a good old Ilyich would say. I think anyone who henceforth raises legitimate concerns over immigration must immediately be dismissed as an idiot. Including, like, supposedly people on the left like Jonathan Ashworth, who I hate, He's a rat, and I'm very glad he got his seat taken off him. People like him who've been, saying about, simultaneously that Israel has the right to kill children, and we should take immigration concerns seriously. You should fuck off, Jonathan. That's what you should do. And anyone who capitulates to this sort of, Tommy Robinson, Nigel Farage framing of immigration should just be immediately fucked off. And, the case needs to be made at every point that, these people are fucking morons. I think with the big sentences handed down, not long enough, obviously. If Just Stop Oil get a 5-year sentence for a Zoom call, put these cunts in prison forever. But I think it'll perturb the biggest idiots from doing it again. But the problem is, it doesn't stop the support for far right political parties and policies. So I think the election predictions again, like I did on the other one. Reform are going to win, or Nigel Farage is going to be Prime Minister in 2029 anyway, because Labour's going to do fuck all. Keir Starmer's going to do fuck all. So the Tory party are functionally dead outside of the South. All these big Labour areas are a big swing for reform, and I think when the austerity agenda of Starmer becomes clearer in 2 or 3 years' time, that there's after 4 or 5 years of absolutely no action on the economy for working people, then these people in fucking shithole towns that have been ruined by Thatcher and subsequent governments and subsequent capitalism, neoliberal capitalism, are going to think, oh well, that's what the left is. That's what the left does for you. Keir Starmer did nothing for me. I'm going to vote for Nigel Farage, which is obviously a road to ruin and actual fascism. So that's fun. That's something to look forward to. I think that is there a cure for it all over? I think there's a possibility. Like the MPs dismissed from Labour, like Zara Sultanas and Jeremy Corbyn. Hopefully, if there's now about 15 of them after cruelly they voted against the party that wanted to take heating away from old people. What bastards they are. I think there's an opportunity there for like a Mélenchon style left-wing coalescence of sort of the MPs that have been dismissed from the Labour Party, Corbyn, Sultana, etc., and the Green Party and people like that. I'm not an idiot. The Liberal Democrats are not left-wing. Do not trust them. And as Yanis Varoufakis says, they must be treated with maximum contempt forever. So don't forget that. I think there's a possibility of that. I think, although I do think Britain is doomed. So sorry about that. As well, to finish on what can we do? What can we do? What is to be done? Vladimir Ilyich Lenin. Constant education. I think of every time. It's easier said than done, but I think you need to have to advocate for policies that are going to make material improvements to people's lives, not just higher wages. What are we working for? Why is everything so fucking expensive? Oh fuck! See, getting that on, knocking the microphone over. And last, what is to be done? Constant education. Which is easier said than done, from people from working class perspectives. We need to be advocating for policies that materially improve people's living conditions. Marxist-Leninism is what we need to be advocating for, people. To paraphrase the old Thomas Sankara, we must never tire as revolutionaries of educating people. I'm fucking knackered off work though, so I'll try and educate as much as I can without sounding like an absolute cunt, which I've just done. But yeah, big Tommy Sankara's right. I've got to try and win people over though. But again, in a totally doomed society where the capitalists own all the levers of power and media, we're fucked. So yeah. But yeah, anyway, if you've listened to this, well done. You're a bit of a lunatic. Subscribe for more. All that shit. Yeah, together. But I tell you how you beat fascism, right? You listen to the music of Vulture Authority and you like and subscribe. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but yeah, Britain's fucked. Anyway, right, bye. Ugh.